party, we like to party, party, party all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home. Party, party, we like to party, party, party all night long. Party, party, we like to party, 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 never go home.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the big 3-0, the 30th pod of the Ball Talk podcast. Tonight, we're going to give you our recap of Game 2 of the Western Conference first round. I guess it's kind of the quarterfinals, but it's the first round. The Thunder take a 2-0 lead on the Memphis Grizzlies after a 118-99 victory in the Paycom Center tonight. Chris and I were both in attendance. Felt great. It was my first game back in Paycom in the playoffs since last year. It delivered. It delivered. It was just fun to be back.
It's fun to be in that environment. Everyone wearing the same T-shirt. It gets you excited. It's a different atmosphere when those T-shirts start laying on those seats. So,
and you know, I tweeted out from our account at Ball Talk Pod OK on X. Follow us if you want. Average follow.
I'd say below average.
Yeah, because yeah. We don't like to toot our own horn. We like to throw it in the trash. I tweeted out before the game that you could tell this was a 6:30 p.m. Central Time, like local tip, because my wife and I went to the Thunder up in the park before, and like it was like kind of full. Like it was a good time, but you could tell it was like Tuesday night. The game started earlier than normal. It was 6:30 on TNT. Then you go into the arena, and it's almost more noticeable whenever there's there's shirts in the chairs, because you can tell which ones haven't been touched.
Right.
And I was like, man, you can really tell this is an early tip local time. And then by the time tip off came, the place was packed. It was loud. Paycom delivered as normal, and the Thunder delivered unsurprisingly. The Grizzlies did better than game one. They honestly, if you would have told them that they would have gone from, I mean, what's their spread? It was 51. They improved the outcome of the game in their favor by 32 points in game 2. If you would have told them that going into this series, they would have taken that and think they're going back to Memphis 1-1.
Yeah, 100%. You knew this was going to be their best shot. And, you know, Mark said after the game one was an outlier. That's not who they are. That's not the team they've been all year. You knew that those three guys in Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, and John Morant were going to come out and play really, really hard and play more to their strengths. And they did. They shot 60 of the 91 shots. No, they weren't extremely efficient or anything, but, you know, they came out and they were trying to carry their team on their back. Shout out to Memphis. I mean, they're up against a buzzsaw. So, but you're right.
They played better, but they could have done anything and pretty much played better from what they did game one.
That's true.
I mean, they could have lost by 40 and done better. And so I just thought it was interesting. Like, you know, they were down 12. I tweeted out, Thunder were up 12 at the end of the first quarter in game one, in a game that we won by 51. We were up 15 at the end of the first tonight. They weren't like disengaged to start, and obviously they kept it closer and they shot it better. And the Thunder actually shot it worse tonight compared to last night. But like Ja kind of seemed disinterested still.
Yeah.
Triple J got 3 fouls early and then didn't pick up a foul the rest of the game.
Interesting. Ooh, let me put on my tinfoil hat for that.
They were fine. And the Thunder, they fed off the energy of the crowd. They fed off just being the better team. And honestly, this game, like how long this series goes will be determined in game 3. Like if they win a game, the Thunder aren't going to lose again. Like if Memphis somehow steals game 3, it's going 5. But if the Thunder steal the first one, quote unquote, the first one on the road, that series is over.
This is their best chance is in front of the fans, and somehow the ball rolls their way and they win the first game at home. I don't see them winning the second. You know, I think you're right. I think it goes 5. They have to win the third game for them to like
not get swept.
not get swept.
Not get
100%.
swept. Yeah.
Mhm.
But back to tonight's game. I told Chris before we got on, I thought we played fine. I definitely, again, don't think it was our best basketball. Shea still feels a little off, which I'll say this. Whenever he knows that we have a very, very good chance of winning and he like kind of gets others involved. I mean, he had a relatively quiet 27 points tonight. He had 8 rebounds, 5 assists. I don't have steals in front of me. He had 2 steals.
He had 2 steals.
He hunts his 3-point shot in games that he knows we're gonna win. Like he almost like keeps working on it, and he tries to take like not even like
10.
Yeah, he takes harder threes, like crazier step backs, more like to the side step backs, just to try to shake loose and I guess just work on his shot. He only had 4 free throws, so for those screaming about flopping and fouls not working over into the playoffs. Congrats, you're right. He still scored 27 and the Thunder won by 19.
I don't think he's like getting to the rim and like trying to, he's not in the position like he had been all season where he gets those foul calls. He is taking a lot because of the way they're playing drop coverage. He gets a lot of these open shots and he looks comfortable. I just think they're just not falling. It's all that shot variance. You know what I mean? I don't think. I think it has nothing to do with how Memphis is guarding him. It's just that the shots aren't falling. I don't know. You seem to be a little more worried about it than I am. I just think that the ball's not rolling his way as of late.
I'm not like worried about it. I was about to say, actually, if it was going to happen in any series, you want it in the first round in a series that you don't see going longer than 4, maybe 5 games. And I also think there's an aspect to it of like, let me work on my jump shot. I'll take what the defense gives me, and I won't force action that I know I can get to that might like require more energy, higher risk of like being more physical in the like. I mean, if the Thunder advance to the NBA Finals, which we all hope and pray that they will, you're going to the middle and even towards the late part of June, and it's April 22nd.
Right.
And so I think it's like, this is a hope. I have no backing to it, but it's like, if we go on in advance as expected, and then regardless of who we play between Denver and the Clippers, each series, I think you're going to see a more aggressive Shea to get to his like his spots. Like every spot on the floor feels like it's his, but those specific ones that like that baseline fadeaway jump shot where it feels like he never misses, and really just attacking the front of the rim. I think we see that more as the playoffs advance.
I think you're probably right, because a couple times tonight he was backing down Scottie Pippen Jr. and even Ja in that sort of baseline area, and instead of going towards the baseline, like fading away towards the baseline and kind of shooting that high ball that kind of somehow goes over the backboard and in, he chose to go to the middle both times. So I think you're right. I think he is trying out stuff, but I don't want our listeners to think that or to worry about Shea's game, because I think
he's the last person on this team you need to worry about.
I think he looks, and even after the game he said he's comfortable. It's just the ball is just not rolling his way. So
yeah, well, and like it's really not rolling away for the team currently. I mean, there are guys shooting it well, and we hit timely threes a lot of the times, but we shot it well in the first half. I don't have that exact number in front of me, but we were 3 of 19 in the second half.
So I was just thinking about the shot variance. Shea's having the shot variance kind of turn, and so as a team, because we set a record for threes and most made threes in a playoff game in the first half. This half with 12 tonight, maybe. And then we go on 0 for 8 in the third quarter. It's sort of like there's a big correction by the basketball karma gods. And in that time period, that third quarter,
Memphis
got back in it, and they started hitting more threes. I think a lot of their threes came in that quarter. It felt like they hit 5 or 6 in a row, and they kind of climbed back from a 20-point deficit to 10. But obviously, to no avail, they still lost by 20.
Yeah.
So,
well, speaking to this point, I actually wrote this down in my notes during the game because I wanted to make sure to remember discussing it on the pod. I never worried the Thunder were going to lose. I think the closest it got was 8. I might be off by a point or two, but I think it was 8.
I got nervous going into the fourth. I really wanted to see what that start of the fourth lineup with Jalen Williams looked like.
And they blew it up.
And when they got it to 10 in 2
way.
minutes. Yeah.
But the thing that I wrote down is as it went from, the Thunder were up 18 at half, and then they cut it down to single digits. They started hitting shots, and they didn't turn the ball over. So we weren't having these run-outs or fast break opportunities, even off of misses, where you kind of get a quick rebound and go, which the Thunder are so good at. When that happens, especially in the playoffs, and it's something that needs to be watched for next round and hopefully the rounds to follow, when that happens, to either maintain or stave off momentum, either keep it for yourself or stave it off moving to the other team, that's when you have to hit your shots, because you're not going to get the free shots that get the crowd into it or silence the crowd on the road. That's when you have to rely on your talent and your scheme and the players on the court to go and make a play. Because tonight it was like, again, never cut it less than 8, and we were at home, and no one was really playing bad. But like, if the Thunder hit even 1 or 2 threes in the third quarter and you're up more than 12, 15 points going into the fourth, you almost feel like that game is already over, and you don't have to try to put it away early in the fourth like they did tonight. Not that it was a negative by any means, but and you get those lulls in the playoffs. But watching that, I was like, there's going to come a time against Denver or the Clippers, and then hopefully whoever comes out of the other side of the bracket in the Western Conference Finals, where the other teams are going to get hot regardless of how great the Thunder's defense is. And you have to respond on your end. And I think they can, especially with how I think Dub played great tonight. I think Chet played great. I don't think anyone necessarily had like a bad game outside of, as we mentioned, like Shea's shooting just quite isn't as efficient as we're used to. I thought Caruso was a maniac.
He's my bald player of the year, ball player of the game.
Bald player of the year?
Bald player of the game.
He's the bald player of the game every game. I don't think we have another bald guy on the team.
I mean, the other team might.
True. But you can tell he is made for playoff basketball.
My God, are his moments loud. The loudest moment in the whole game, the crowd erupted when he got a jump ball versus, was it Salty Adama?
Him or Triple J?
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah. And the crowd went nuts. I mean, just the loudest it was all night. He's just like, the Oklahoma City Thunder crowd rewards effort. They reward getting on the floor first. They reward rebounds. They reward players playing hard. And he is that guy all game. And so the crowd loves him.
And you get away with more in the playoffs. And so like his physical style of defense where he's checking guys. And I don't think he's doing anything egregious that people are up in arms on Twitter about, Caruso murdered a man tonight and he didn't even get called for a foul. He's playing great defense. He just can get away with a little bit more reaching, and he's so good with his hands, either on the ball or even off. He just causes so much havoc in the playoffs. And we saw it in spurts in the regular season. Some of the bigger games where you could tell Mark kind of like steered towards playing closer to a playoff rotation. He had like longer stints where it was like, oh, I get it now, even though he's missed half the season. And I think in the season that he missed probably half the games he missed, he probably didn't really have to miss. It was more so of like, we're being cautious with him. We know what we have. He fits in well already, and we're saving him for now. And it's working out so far 2 games into the 2025 playoffs.
Right.
But I think the 2 things that I love about tonight, and I kind of already alluded to it, was Chet and Dub. Chet had 20 points, 11 rebounds, 5 blocks.
That block he had on, I think it's Salty Adama with like 50 seconds left. He went up for a dunk, and Chet was like, "You're not dunking on us tonight, bro." He's like, "No. Get it out of here." He met him. He was behind him and just like swatted it towards it. And
directly
it was
into the backboard, and it bounced all the way back. And
it was
we got a run out on it, I think.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it just felt like he was like him and Jub both made their presence felt forcefully and often during this game.
And not enforcefully in a very positive way, not in a way where it felt like they were struggling and to generate that and are forcing their shots in a bad way.
Right.
Yeah.
They were definitely in the flow of the game. The whole team seems to be in this flow state where they are, just like passing the ball really well, giving up open shots for more open shots and not overpassing and, cheering on their teammates. It's this flow state that they've generated is something I think they've built through the regular season. And why I don't think like regular season, there are teams that are like regular season doesn't matter. Like on a Luka team, does the regular season matter as much? He kind of turns it on for the playoffs and plays really well. The habits that this team has built throughout the regular season are just like paying dividends in these first two games of the playoffs. And it's why everyone is like picking them to go really far in the playoffs. It's because the habits they've built throughout the regular season.
Well, and it's why you're seeing in a game where you might not even play to your standards, they beat one of the, like, statistically, the Grizzlies, and we didn't even touch on this last pod, they're one of the like better 8 seeds of all time. I mean, they have 48 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were second in the West for going into the All-Star break. I mean, they're playing well at one point in this season. I mean, not to say they're playing great now.
Well, they lost like 4 rotation players.
Correct. But you're seeing those habits come into effect where even though they're up 10, 15 points, and they like every single time they got it to 8, there was a 6-0 run by the Thunder.
Right.
Like they knew how to respond. They knew how to throw the counterpunch. And that's what you got. Like, I feel like in these playoffs, and it's a blessing and a curse. You get the 1 seed so you don't have to go play another contender in the first round. Like the Lakers and Timberwolves right now are playing. Those are 2 teams that are going to go at it. Looks like it's going to be 1-1 going into game 3. Same for the Clippers and Nuggets. The Thunder get to not have like a series off, but they kind of aren't going to be tested to the extent that those other teams are. And you hope they get so tested in the first round that they're tired when they move on and face you. But then the downside of it is like, okay, tonight you can kind of tell we all expected to win a little bit. Like I mentioned, like the crowd was great, but I remember last year, especially in the Mavs series, the hour before the game, everyone's on their feet using their little clappers to like the whole warm up. And tonight they waited. Like we kind of waited. It didn't feel as big, I guess. And they brought it. I mean, I think one of the coolest things, like, it's just a crowd that understands basketball. We went 2 or 3 minutes without scoring. We were getting good shots, but we didn't score. I mean, Memphis wasn't really scoring either. And Chet gets fouled and goes to the free throw line. And as many of you know, Paycom does the thing where no one sits down until we score a point. Most of the time it's a field goal, but we'll take a free throw a lot of the times too. And then Bailey even turned to me and she's like, "Oh man, our first bucket's going to be on a free throw," like kind of bummed out it. And then he missed the first free throw.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I was like, "You jinxed it." And then like you felt the crowd and there's just kind of this murmur. And then all of a sudden there was just like this ovation of loud clapping with the little paper things they give out as like a, "Hey, you got this. Like go get the next one." And he cashed the next one. And then as you mentioned, like there were several times, not just the jump ball that you mentioned, but there was a play where Caruso dove on the floor and tapped it back in. Hartenstein dove on the floor inbounds to get the ball and then dished it up. I mean, like, and the crowd went nuts for those things. Like every block, this crowd explodes. Everything that screams effort, that screams energy, Paycom feels it and gives it back to the team. And it's so cool. It is so cool. But yeah, they're looking pretty good to advance to the next round is my analysis.
That is sound analysis, Ben.
I know that's why people come here.
You could be on ESPN with that sort of analysis. Like you said, I don't know how much this Memphis team is going to test them. Unlike, the Warriors are getting tested by Houston. the Lakers are getting tested by the Wolves. So it's nice to kind of have a long runway to kind of warm up to the playoffs and that kind of playoff atmosphere. And it's nice to go into Memphis, in 2 days and feel that kind of other opposing team's crowd before it becomes a game where it's 1-1 and they have to go win that first game kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. I also think it's funny. Bailey, my wife, pointed out, we do like the Paycom's really great about doing the Lou every time when Lou gets announced as the starter. And then when he goes to take a three, everyone immediately starts doing it before it even goes in. And when he misses it, it sounds like Lou, like you hear it around the whole crowd. Which is just funny. But
and all those things are like you're hyper aware of those things in the playoffs because it's so much louder and everyone's barking. Everyone's engaged. Lou, everyone's really engaged in the game. Sometimes when you come during the regular season, you're just there to watch a game and everyone's just kind of like
it's a social event.
Yeah, sometimes. So that is really cool.
Bottom line
is it's looking good for the Thunder. Advanced A+ analysis. I will say one of the funniest things I thought of during the game was when their coach got a technical. It was like he might be the best coach to get a technical because it's not going to really change what they do as a team.
They'll just go to their fourth coach.
Yeah, he's only been with the team for like 3 weeks as the head coach. What is him getting ejected really going to do to their play style?
And we texted about it during the game. I think half the arena didn't even know he got a tech.
No,
because it was so loud.
It was a sad tech. And then it was funny. Shea was trying to get the free throw, but apparently, I guess in the NBA, it's whoever was on the court during the.
I almost tweeted out. I was like, "Is that the first time in Shea's life, at least in the NBA, that he was on the court and did not shoot the tech?" He subbed in after that dead ball, and so that's why they gave it to Dub. I noticed that too. I was like, "This is weird." Like they even stopped and was like, "No, get out."
Yeah, they did.
But yeah, I mean, slow Shea game, but still was very efficient or very effective outside of his shot making. He was plus 12 tonight in the box score. Dub and Chet are doing things that make me excited to see if they can build off of sustaining and even increasing leads when Shea is off the court. We'll see how that works into the next series. And then other guys are hitting shots. One thing that I thought was interesting before we get out of here, Wiggins didn't play the second half. The entire second half.
Yeah, I noticed that. I mean, he was 4 for 6, 0 for 1 from the 3-point line. It feels like he was having a pretty good night.
I mean, his finishing was insane.
Yeah, I wonder if he got like a stinger. Like that he got a steal, or Jalen Williams poked a steal to him or something, and he finished over Edie or Jaren Jackson Jr. and got one. He was really rocking. I wonder if he like had a stinger, or maybe it's one of those things Mark's like, maybe we won't play you tonight.
Well,
and we'll save you for Thursday.
Well, and like Caruso is playing so well, Kaysen obviously is going to get his minutes with how effective he's been. Mm-hmm. It's just weird to me because I would kind of think him and Joe would be almost interchangeable with how well Wiggins has been shooting, but they still go with Isaiah Joe. And not that that's wrong, but whenever they shrink the bench, Wiggins is kind of Wiggins and Jay Will. Jay Will only played 3 minutes in the first quarter too. Those are the two guys that it falls off on whenever they shrink.
They still play 10 guys. They just aren't playing, Kenrich Williams. And I'm sure they play like in the season in a game like this, they would have played 12 guys with AJ Mitchell and Kenrich Williams getting some time. So
yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, love what I'm seeing. We'll see if that continues Thursday night in Memphis. It's an 8:30 p.m. Central Time tip on TNT. We'll bring you a wrap-up pod for that game as well. But appreciate everybody listening. Thunder win, 118-99. And, we're 14 wins away, baby. 14.
14 more.
2 down, 14 to go. Appreciate everybody, and we'll talk to you all Thursday. See you.
All night long.
See ya.
Party, we like to party, party, party all night long. Party, we like to party, 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 never go home. Party, we like to party, party, party all night night long.